All right, let's dive into a story that's absolutely packed with drama. It's a tale where a king's paranoia goes head-to-head with a mother's love, a servant's incredible courage, and ultimately, a daughter's unbelievable capacity for forgiveness. Let's see how this whole thing unfolds. So, get this. The whole story kicks off with this absolutely bone-chilling threat from a king to his own pregnant wife. This one sentence, right here, sets the stage for a desperate life-or-death struggle, all because of a terrible prophecy.
Yeah, you're probably wondering how on earth does a king say that to his own wife? Well, to understand that, we have to go back to the king himself and the exact moment this all-consuming fear of his was born.
So, let me introduce you to our main guy, King Tej Pratap Singh. And he's not exactly a great ruler. He's known for being kind of eccentric and, well, pretty cruel. One day, he's out in the forest and he stumbles upon this man who's pretending to be a holy ascetic, a total fraud, who knows that one wrong word to this king could be his last.
The king, being the king, he asks this guy about his unborn kid. Now, this ascetic, he's thinking fast, right? His life is on the line. So he cooks up this devastating prophecy. He tells the king a son is fine, but a daughter will mean the king's total ruin. And this one lie, it just plants this seed of fear that immediately twists into a deep, profound hatred for the very idea of having a daughter.
So once the king hears this, that's it. His mind is set in stone. And that forces everyone around him to come up with a really desperate plan, all to save one innocent life.
Okay, so time moves on. First, the queen has a son. Everyone's celebrating. Fantastic. But then, a couple of years later, she's pregnant again. And just before the king heads off on this long trip, he lays down the law one more time. If it's a daughter, she dies. And wouldn't you know it, while he's away, the queen's greatest fear comes true. She gives birth to a beautiful baby girl.
Just imagine that. The queen is now in this impossible situation. I mean, what do you even do? How can you be ordered to murder your own child? She's completely devastated, and she sees absolutely no way out of this nightmare.
But just when all hope seems lost, this is where a hero emerges. A palace maid named Gauri. She sees the queen's total despair and comes up with this incredibly clever and seriously brave plan. She'll make a big public show of taking the baby away to be executed, but in secret she's going to take the princess home and raise her as her own niece, completely hidden from the king.
And this is where you see two totally different kinds of people, right? On one hand, you've got Gauri, who's doing this purely out of compassion. But then, when she gets the baby home, her greedy family, they see a completely different angle. They realize they can use this secret princess as leverage to basically blackmail the queen for money and jewels. Okay, let's fast forward a bit. Years pass. The princess is growing up totally in secret, being raised as a commoner. And now we're at the moment where prophecy and fate are about to collide in a huge way.
So the princess is now a young woman, and she's just breathtakingly beautiful. One day, the king's out and about in the city, and he spots her, and he's just floored. The text says her beauty wounded him. It's like he's been physically hit by how stunning she is.
So now, the king is absolutely obsessed. He has to know who this girl is. And the irony, of course, is just wow. He has no clue he's looking right at the daughter he wanted dead from the moment she was born.
So he sends his minister to figure it out. The minister finds her, and he comes back with this report that is so ironically both completely true and a total lie. He says she's the daughter of the palace maid Gauri.
The king doesn't even care that she's supposedly a commoner. He's so smitten he demands to marry her. He sends gifts, the whole shebang. But Gauri, knowing the absolute horror of the situation, she says no, flat out refuses. She can't let the king marry his own daughter. And you can just imagine how well the king takes that.
Yeah, enraged is putting it mildly. The king's fury is what pushes the story right to its climax. Gauri gets dragged to the palace, and now another life is on the line.
So there she is, in front of the furious king. He's threatening her, how dare you refuse me? And Gauri realizes she has no other card to play. She spills the secret she's held for all these years. You can't marry her. She's not my daughter. She is your own.
Now you'd think this is the moment where he's hit with remorse, right? A shocking revelation. But nope, nothing. All he can think about is that stupid prophecy. This daughter, who is supposed to be his ruin, is alive.
And his reaction is just monstrous. He commands his own son, the prince, to go kill her and bring back her eyes as proof.
And really, this is what the whole story is about. You have a father telling his son to kill his sister. But the brother, he chooses a different path. He chooses compassion. He tells her he could never, ever hurt her. He tells her to go hide in the forest, and he promises he'll fake her death by bringing their father the eyes of a deer instead.
So the princess is now all alone, out in the middle of the forest. Her brother saved her, but her father has, for the second time, completely abandoned her. And this final, cruel act is what sets the stage for the king's inevitable downfall.
But her story isn't over. After some time just trying to survive out there, she's discovered by a prince from another kingdom. And he's just captivated by her beauty, by her whole story. And he asks her to marry him. She agrees, and just like that, the lost princess finally becomes a queen in a brand new land.
Now, her new husband, he hears all about King Tej Pratap's tyranny and how his own people can't stand him. So, partly to right a wrong, and maybe seeing a good opportunity, he declares war. And because Tej Pratap is so hated by his own subjects, he's defeated pretty easily.
So here he is, the cruel king, captured, about to be executed. And who does he see standing there with the victor? His daughter. Suddenly, all that cruelty just melts away into pure fear. And he begs her to save him, finally calling her his daughter, and admitting he was the one who was wrong all along.
And this is it, the final defining moment. After everything this man has put her through, trying to have her killed not once but twice, she looks at her father and makes a choice. She tells him, "I cannot watch you be killed." She asks her husband to spare his life.
Her incredible act of compassion saves the very man who never showed her any. It's such a powerful ending, and it really leaves you thinking, doesn't it? In the face of that much cruelty, is forgiveness the ultimate victory, or does it just hit